Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today we're tackling freedom. But not just any freedom.
Yeah,
The kind that breaks those chains you didn't even know were there.
exactly. The freedom Jesus brings from, well, the stuff that weighs us down.
You got it, Sin.
Hmm.
And get this, we've got a super interesting mix of sources to help us unpack all this.
Oh, it's going to be good.
I've got this really powerful devotional from the Apostolic Faith Church, and then some seriously moving lyrics from the gospel song, He Set Me Free.
Oh, I love that one.
Me too.
Yeah.
And to top it all off, we jump into Luke chapter 4, verses 18 through 21.
Those verses, they're amazing. They really show how much everyone, everywhere, always wants to be free.
So true. So this devotional, right, it starts with this story about this woman. She's totally hooked on cigarettes.
Oh, wow.
But it's not even the health stuff that gets to her the most. It's the control. It's like the cigarettes are calling the shots.
I can see that.
Like she can't even schedule a meeting without planning in a smoke break. Can you imagine feeling that tied to something?
It's a powerful picture. And, that feeling of being totally controlled, that's what the devotional compares to being under the yoke of sin.
Oh, I see.
They even bring in Galatians 5.1. To make the point that sin, just like that cigarette, it can just take over
Wow.
our thoughts, our actions, even like our schedules.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
It makes total sense, though.
Yeah,
It's like you don't even realize how heavy that yoke is until it's gone.
100%. And that brings us to those awesome lyrics from He Set Me Free. That whole image of a bird, finally escaping its cage and just taking off.
Oh, yeah.
It perfectly captures what breaking free from sin can feel like, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's like you don't even realize how good it feels to be free until you're actually free.
It's true.
And you know what? Both the devotional and that song, they talk about this total transformation, right? Like this whole new you.
Yeah, exactly.
So the woman in the story, after she finally quit smoking, like after 8 years,
Wow, 8 years.
8 years, she talks about how different everything is. Like she can breathe again.
Really?
Yeah. And food. It tastes amazing.
Wow.
And her thinking, it's so much clearer.
That's incredible.
It's not just about quitting smoking. It's like a whole new way of experiencing life.
It really is. And it's amazing how her experience, it's almost exactly like what we see in Luke chapter 4.
Oh, you're right. In Luke, when Jesus is reading from the scroll, the synagogue,
Yeah.
he's basically laying out his mission statement, isn't he? To proclaim good news to the poor, to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free.
Powerful stuff.
That's Luke 4:1, by the way, for anyone following along at home.
And what's so important is that the freedom Jesus is talking about, it's not just some like vague spiritual thing.
Yeah.
He's talking about a freedom that changes every part of our lives, how we feel, our relationships, the way we think, even our bodies.
It's like a total reset.
It is. It's like being set free from everything that holds us back. Everything that keeps us from really living.
I totally get that. Like with the woman in the devotional, her freedom wasn't just about kicking the cigarettes. It was about getting her life back, her time, her health, her sense of like who she really was.
That's powerful.
And those yokes that we carry around, they can be all kinds of things.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's not always addiction. It can be fear or anger.
Yeah.
Or always comparing ourselves to other people.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's those unhealthy patterns we keep repeating in our relationships.
Absolutely.
Like the same fights over and over.
Exactly. And each of those yokes, whatever they are, they weigh us down. They keep us from experiencing that full life, that abundant life Jesus came to give us.
It's true.
If we go back to Luke 4:1, it's all about healing, restoration, and that deep soul-level freedom.
And you know what? It makes me think, what kind of sight do we need to recover in our own lives? Like what's keeping us from seeing things clearly, seeing ourselves?
Yeah.
Maybe it's pride or maybe it's unforgiveness.
Yeah.
It could be so many things.
Exactly.
And, there's this line in He Set Me Free that really gets me. My feet are planted on higher ground.
I love that line.
It's like this feeling of being lifted up, not weighed down anymore.
It's so powerful.
Yeah. It's like finally breaking free.
And it shows that real transformation that Jesus gives. It's not just a quick fix. It's a complete makeover.
Like a whole new beginning.
Exactly. A rebirth into a whole new way of being.
So it's not about willpower then, right? It's not about trying harder.
No, not at all.
It's about surrendering to Jesus and letting his power work in us. To break those chains and make us new.
Yeah.
It's about grace.
That's it. It's about letting go of that struggle and trusting in his strength.
Wow.
And that's why the devotional writer emphasized that being free, it's a choice, a choice we got to make every single day.
A daily choice.
Yeah, it's about choosing to walk in his grace, in his love.
Like a constant decision to stay on that path.
Exactly. So to everyone listening, if you're feeling weighed down, like there's something stealing your joy, your peace,
Something holding you back.
remember this. You were made for freedom. You were created to soar, to experience the incredible love and grace of Jesus Christ.
Beautiful.
And he's right there, waiting with open arms, ready to break those chains, ready to set you free. All you have to do is take his hand.
What a beautiful message of hope. And I love how both the devotional and the song lyrics, they highlight that it's not just about escaping the bad stuff,
Right.
It's about stepping into this life full of purpose, meaning, even joy.
And that joy, it's contagious. When we walk in freedom, it overflows. It affects the people around us.
It's like a ripple effect.
It is. It touches everyone we meet.
Yeah.
And it points them back to the source of that joy.
Which is Jesus.
Exactly.
That's amazing. It's like
Yeah.
freedom is this gift that keeps on giving.
And sometimes we don't even realize how much we're carrying until it's gone.
It's so true. Sometimes we need to feel the weight of those yokes to really appreciate the lightness, the freedom that Jesus offers.
And the journey to freedom, it's not always this big, dramatic thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a bunch of little victories, like slowly shedding those layers of bondage as we get closer to Jesus.
It's like peeling an onion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with each layer, we get to see more of who we are in Christ.
More beautiful, more whole, more free.
That's it.
Okay, so before we wrap things up, I want to go back to something we talked about before, about staying alert, about really holding on to that freedom, because it's so easy to slip back into those old patterns, especially when we let our guard down.
Yeah, it's like you finally break free and then bam, you're right back where you started.
It's true. Those temptations, those old ways of thinking, they can sneak up on you when you least expect it.
It can feel like a never-ending battle sometimes.
It can. But you know what? Those lyrics from He Set Me Free, they're such a great reminder.
Yeah.
That line, "Not of this world shall turn me around," it's like a declaration,
Yeah. Like we're not going to be distracted, not going to be tempted.
Okay, I love that. But how do we get to that point, that unwavering strength? How do we make it more than just words in a song?
That's the question, isn't it? And I think first, we got to admit that we can't do it alone.
It's a team effort.
It is. We need Jesus every step of the way. We need his grace, his power, his guidance to help us through it all.
So staying connected to him through prayer, reading the Bible, being with other believers who can lift us up when we're struggling.
Exactly. It's like building a support system for our freedom, surrounding ourselves with people who get it.
Yeah, people who can remind us of what's important.
Exactly. It's all about nurturing that relationship with Jesus, the kind that can carry us through anything, the kind that empowers us to live in true freedom.
It's about recognizing that we don't have to do this alone.
We weren't meant to.
Well, I think we've covered a lot today. I hope everyone listening is feeling inspired, encouraged by this whole idea of freedom in Jesus.
Me too.
It's not just an idea, it's real.
Yeah.
We can live it every day.
Absolutely. And before we go, I want to leave you with this. We talked about sin being like a yoke weighing us down.
Yeah.
So think about it. What are some specific yokes in your life that you might need freedom from? What would it look like to really experience that full freedom, that freedom Jesus offers? What would change?
That's a great question. Spend some time thinking about it this week.
Yeah.
And remember, no matter what you're facing, no matter how heavy those yokes might feel, Jesus is right there, ready to break them, ready to set you free.
He is. Don't be afraid to reach out to him. Ask for his help.
And until next time, keep seeking that freedom.
Mm.
Embrace the joy that comes with it and walk in the light of his grace.
His incredible, life-changing grace.